Support for today's episode comes from Honeylove. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/ratchet. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/ratchet to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. This year, learn from the best to become your best with Masterclass. With Masterclass, every new membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. And right now, our listeners will get an additional 15% off an annual membership at masterclass.com/ratchet. Get 15% off right now at masterclass.com/ratchet. Masterclass.com/ratchet.
You can live out your MasterChef dream when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. I'm back. Wait, did I tell you I was leaving? I mean, not leaving as in South Africa. I left Cape Town. I went to Hermanus. It's a little seaside town about almost 2 hours away from Cape Town. It is best known for whale watching. I went there, I want to say in 2011, my first time in South Africa. In a very roundabout way, I ended up connecting with this guy from South Africa Tourism. They were hosting a bunch of journalists in Cape Town the same week that I was supposed to be traveling there from Johannesburg. He was like, why don't you just join our group and I'll take you around Cape Town and beyond. So one of the places that was beyond was this town called Hermanus. At the time we went, it wasn't high whale season, and I'd never in my life thought about watching whales. But the excursion to the town introduced me to the idea. We went to this restaurant. I went while I was visiting this trip. It's a cave on a cliff, if you will, and it has like a little cove, and you sit there and eat, but it's prime whale watching space. So the whales sometimes come into the cove. I was told they get so close sometimes that they can even splash you. So really up close whale watching. I was desperately looking for them at the restaurant, but no whale spotting. I stayed from Saturday to Monday. So I had 2 very, very early appointments to go whale watching, 7 a.m. on both days. 2 hours at the crack of dawn, out on the water, excellent light. I'm not particularly a morning person, but for the right occasion, I'll drag myself out of bed. So I had 2 things that I really wanted to see on this whale watching adventure. One of them was to see whales like doing whale tricks. So like jumping in the air, flipping around, waving a fin, but particularly doing like a jump. I also wanted to see a whale like dive into the ocean and like flip its tail at me. Everyone has their thing. I posted some of it on my Instagram account. It's been on my bucket list to go whale watching for over 10 years now. So worth it. There are a few things more gratifying to me than checking off a goal, having something on my bucket list, and it's even better to experience than it was in my head. Absolute excellence. And the town of Hermanus, like even if there was no whale watching, is absolutely amazing. I'm kind of mad that I didn't go on my previous trips to South Africa. It wasn't prime whale watching season. So I was like, well, why would I go out there? Like, what am I going to do other than watch whales? Really, really cute town. It gives vibes from, I want to say what Greece looks like on the coast. I've never actually been to Greece, but what it looks like on Instagram. Like in marketing materials, I've never actually heard anybody from Cape Town say so, but in marketing materials, they bill Hermanus as like the South African Riviera. And I'm like, okay, sure. But so much cuteness, really great restaurants, really great seafood for obvious reason, because it's right there on the water. There's a lot of vineyards or wine farms, as they call them here. I didn't get a chance to go out to the wine farms, but I did find this really cute restaurant called The Wine Shop, and they do wine tasting. So I had a tasting of bubbles. They call it MCC here. It's like their version of champagne. but you can't call champagne champagne, or you're not supposed to if it doesn't come from France. But I had a tasting of MCC. They had pink, they had rosé. I was like, what's the difference? Well, when you taste them, one is way drier than the other. I preferred the pink, which is super dry. Who knew? And then I ended up getting a massage at this amazing hotel. It was French, like a French theme, at least. That masseuse, sweet lady, young girl, she found kinks and knots in my back that I didn't even know existed. It hurt, but I never told her to stop. When I got off her table, I had to like sit in the lounge for an hour to like pull myself back together because I was so just, somehow I got dehydrated during the massage, even though I wasn't sweating. It was weird. And I stayed at this hotel. I lucked out at the last minute because I didn't book until literally the night before I left. Someone canceled at the last minute. So I got an oceanside suite for dirt cheap. And I was sitting on the balcony one afternoon. The people next door were outside as well. And the woman just started shrieking. And I looked up and like a whale had come like right up to very close to where we were staying and was doing like all sorts of like cute whale tricks, like just hopping around, flipping around, waving its fin. That was probably the most active whale that I saw the whole time, even despite going out on the boat every morning. Really good weekend. I'm really glad I went out to Hermanas. Enough about me. There's many things going on in the world. One of them being the American Music Awards. I didn't even know it was happening. And I don't even think that's because I'm in South Africa. Like there have been whole award shows that happen when I'm in the States and I don't know about them until the clips start running the next day. I had no clue the AMAs were happening. I saw pictures of Jennifer Hudson on the red carpet and I was like, oh, okay, like there must be an award show. I've heard nothing about the award show. I've seen no clips from the award show other than Jennifer Hudson doing the Whitney Houston tribute. She's saying, I will always love you. When I was reading up on her performance, I read this is her third time doing a Whitney tribute. I thought she did an excellent job. I think her voice is absolutely amazing. I loved the restraint that she showed for the AMA performance because, Jennifer can blow. Like she's a church girl. She has an amazingly powerful voice. But Whitney's voice on I Will Always Love You doesn't require that powerhouse that Jen has. And so she pulled back a little bit, just a little bit. Like it was a much more soulful, I would say, rendition than what Whitney used to give. But it was beautiful and it was perfect. And I thought Jen's voice and her vocal control and even her runs at the end, I love it when she does extras. Some people are like, stop all that hollering and screaming. I'm like, no, I live. But she kept it soulful, but pretty crisp through most of the performance. And then towards the end, she was like, let me remind you who I am. Like I have a talk show and that's where you see me every day. But please remember, I can sing down the place. I have an Oscar and a Grammy and an Emmy and a Tony. Jennifer Hudson's an EGOT. Ma'am does perform. Ma'am can sing. She gave us a little razzle dazzle at the end. I thought it was great. I've watched the performance several times because I really, really enjoy her voice. And I thought she did like a really, really, really good job. I like her lots. She's one of my faves. I saw clips of her talk show. She had Common on the show. She and Common have been dating for a while, like over a year. In the clip that I saw on the show, like they were very flirty. I think she was signing off for the show and he just couldn't stop kissing on her and they were all hugged up together. And I was like, okay, girl. I think she's absolutely lovely. He's who I'm concerned about because, he dates all these high profile, very smart, very adorable women and then, breaks up with them. His last breakup with Tiffany Haddish, I think that was the girlfriend before JHud. Like it took her a really long time to get over him. Like she just would not stop talking about him. In fairness, though, didn't he like break up with her and she found out like the same time everybody else did? Like she found out in the press. Like she didn't know they were over. At least that's her version of events. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty painful. That could cause a deep wound that could take you a minute to get over. I kind of see what might have been happening with Tiffy girl. She's okay. I'm gonna move on. Our segment is not about her. Jenny's grown folks, so I hope she knows what she's doing. And they look real, real happy. But he also, looked real, real happy. But I don't know. I'm protective of her. Like she's been through a lot. I mean, I guess everybody who makes it to 40 has been through a lot. But at the same time, I'm just, I don't want to see nothing bad happen to her. Like, her mother, her brother, her nephew were killed. Like that's more than the average person's a lot. I just want her to have like a nice, good, happy life. If she chooses a partner, someone who is, genuine and treats her well and isn't going to flake out somewhere around year 2, as Common is known to do. He totally doesn't get enough flack for that. Like people go in on Lori Harvey all the time, and I'm like, are you not the male Lori Harvey? That's not the point. The point is, I hope Jennifer Hudson is happy. I wish her nothing but the best. I like her lots. Support for today's episode comes from Honeylove. Honeylove has revolutionized the wireless bra game. Their bras feature supportive bonding that eliminates the need for uncomfortable wires and unnecessary bulk. You deserve a bra that's lightweight and comfortable without sacrificing support. Embrace freedom, flexibility, and comfort with Honeylove's wire-free bras. Plus, they're made with fabric that's so soft, you'll forget you're wearing it. I love Honeylove's best-selling crossover bra. It's so comfortable, sure to be your new go-to. This bra gives all the support of traditional bras without using any underwire. Plus, mesh detailing adds a touch of sexy. This is one bra you'll actually enjoy wearing. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/ratchet. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/ratchet to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. We've all hit a point where we realized it was time to make serious money moves. Take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/ratchet. I love how easy Chime makes it to get your finances in order and how easy they make it to access your money. Chime allows you access to over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. And if you're running a little low on funds, Chime's got you. Chime has spotted members over $30 billion to date, and Chime never charges fees or interest for using SpotMe. Make your fall finances a little greener by working towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/ratchet. That's chime.com/ratchet. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. In other news, Cissy Houston, gospel singer, Grammy Award winner, mother of Whitney, grandmother to Bobby Christina, has passed away. She passed away, I think, over the weekend, Sunday or Monday. I read about it yesterday that she passed away. She was 91 years old, which is a lot of life. She had a lot of tragedy. I mean, your daughter and your granddaughter passing away is a lot. She had a long life. I hope that in her final years, she was able to find some joy and some peace despite the passing of Whitney and Bobby Christina. That's not something you get over, or I don't even know if you get through that. Like that's many things, many, many things. I saw the Friends page earlier. He was talking about Cissy Houston, and he didn't have very kind words to say. He blames Cissy, as I think a lot of people do, for Whitney's problems, and then also eventually Whitney's death. She wasn't accepting of Whitney's sexuality, and a lot of people think that that was a cause of Whitney's substance abuse over the years. So he didn't have very many nice things to say. I hope that the passing of her daughter gave her time for reflection or men making. Obviously, she can't do it with her daughter, but within herself, with others in her space and community, where she was able to be more blessing than burden to folks who are seeking acceptance. I just feel really, I don't know. There's a picture circulating online, and it's a black and white photo of Cissy, and she's flanked by Bobby Christina and Whitney. And it's a really gorgeous photo. I didn't like choke up or cry or anything when I saw it, but I felt very like sentimental. They're all going on now. They've all gone on to see the king. And, you know, the granddaughter and the daughter left before the grandmother. It just, you know, it's not the right way of things. So it just struck me. I mean, clearly Cissy had her faults, but I hope she reconciled and found peace and joy in her final years. May she rest in peace. Speaking of mothers, Janice Combs has released a statement about her son through her lawyer. I'm not quite sure what compelled her to do such. Well, I guess maybe I'm being a little disingenuous when I say that because the rumors about Diddy are insane. It's like everyone in Hollywood or entertainment, any sort of celebrity, business person, anyone who ever attended a Diddy party, even during daylight, like Diddy's being accused of so much shit. I was watching, was it News Nation? I was watching a clip better of News Nation, and there was a lawyer on, and she was talking about there's a video of an A-list celebrity, a woman, a lawyer, black lawyer, and she was saying that she had seen the video, but she says the person who owns the video wants to sell the video to the A-list celebrity who is featured doing only God knows what. It wasn't clear if they were having sex that was consensual, whether they were having sex with a prostitute, whether it was same-sex sex, whether it was sex with Diddy, whether it was sex with a minor. Somebody has this video and they're shopping it and they want the A-list person to buy it. But if that person doesn't buy it, like currently there's a bidding war between two news sites to buy the video that it come out any day now. And I was like, this is a circus. I was watching, again, clips because I don't really watch TV like that. I was watching clips of Piers Morgan. Is that his name? The British guy. He was interviewing Jaguar Wright, who has said a lot of things over the years that sounded crazy. And then people were like, oh no, she's crazy. Like, no, her stories might be crazy, but they also might be true. Because she said some really crazy stuff over the years. And like now that, all this stuff is coming out about Diddy and all these people are being accused, it's like, well, was there some truth in it? But she was on Piers Morgan the other day and she started talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce. And she was like, Diddy does whatever. But she was like, Jay-Z and Beyonce are like, worse than Diddy. And I was like, hey, 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 you can't just be outside making accusations like this. I mean, maybe she is telling the truth. I absolutely hope not. But like, you got to have some sort of stuff to back this up. Like, you're going to end up Tasha Cade, sis. Like, people say like a lot of reckless stuff about Diddy right now because of all the lawsuits. And also, he's locked up. You can speak a little more free. But like Jay-Z and Beyonce, they are free. And they got money for good lawyers. Sis, you trying it. It seems like a lot of people want something to be happening with Jay-Z and Beyonce. And I'm like, please no. I don't want any other celebrities caught up in Diddy's itch. Like, I know it's eventually going to happen, but I'm like, no Jay-Z, no Beyonce. Because of the gravity of all the things that Diddy is accused of, all the violence, all the abuse, full stop. The primary concern, primary care, the most attention and intention should be with the victims and survivors of people who were allegedly harmed by him, first and foremost. Way further down on the list, I've not been taking all this stuff with Diddy very well. I didn't really get caught up in the Cosby thing. Like, to me, it was a show. I didn't feel like Bill Cosby was my dad. Like, it was a good show about a black family. I didn't feel devastated when the stuff started coming out about Cosby. I was like, oh, if he's, guilty, send him to jail. I felt no ways about it. R. Kelly, I had more issues letting go of the music than I did of the man. Because for so many years, like 20 years before surviving R. Kelly, some people had seen, I saw it, the video of him urinating on the little girl. They said she was 14. She looked like she was 11. I didn't have any sort of, deep connection to R. Kelly. But I'm like, did he? Like, that's my late teens, all of my college years, and into my partying in New York years. Bad Boy was a mood, a vibe. Diddy was, black excess, but also black excellence, but also black wealth. I never thought twice about going to party in the Hamptons until Diddy's out there, like white parties and all that stuff. I'm surely they existed, but they weren't on my radar. Hanging out in Saint-Tropez, doing big vacations in Morocco. Like, I didn't think about stuff like that. But like watching Diddy videos, watching Diddy performances, like it was just so over the top and so extra. Like the way he partied, the way he vacationed, it shifted culture in so many ways. And he was very aspirational. I didn't really think I had like the connection to the bad boy era and like things that Diddy represented until all this happened. And I was like, yo, WTF. Like, it's just a whole lot to wrap my mind around. So I say that to say that, like, no, I don't want to hear stories about Jay-Z or Beyonce or Usher or Bieber or anybody else. I know stories are going to come out eventually about some of my faves, but like I'm good on that. I don't look forward to somebody else being exposed. I think I was reading Billboard, like Tupac's family wants to reopen the investigation into his death. There's a guy, I can't remember his name, Dwayne Davis. He was arrested in September 2023, and he was charged with one count of murder with a deadly weapon in connection to Tupac's murder. If I recall this story, this guy was like running around telling people that he killed Tupac, and that's how the police caught up with him. But his trial begins in March 2025, and still reading on Billboard, it notes that Davis had previously claimed that Sean Combs offered him $1 million for a hit on Tupac Shakur. So now the Shakur estate is like, yeah, can we investigate the link between, you know, Tupac and Diddy? Because like, you know, if he has something to do with it, we want him prosecuted for that. There's so much. And then like everybody who's ever been to a Diddy party, I saw, I know her as Superhead. She changed her name, Elizabeth Oversten, something like that. Corinne Steffens is what we used to know her as, and then also Superhead, and then she changed her name. She did an interview where she was talking about going to Diddy parties, and she was like, yeah, like somebody gifted me to Diddy, and he told me he wanted me to come to a party. And I was like, what gifted you? Like your property? Okay, girl. But she said she went to the party. They offered her drug. They were like, what kind of high do you want to have? And so she picked the drug and she was like, and then they, you know, just fuck forever for it. Okay. So your consensual sex with Diddy is not the stuff that we're interested in. It's the people who were forced. It's the people who were forced to take drugs. It's the people who were not of age to consent. The federal government is worried about the sex workers involved. You know, technically prostitution is illegal. I'm not very concerned about that. I don't think most people are. But I'm just like, hey, girl, like, I mean, I know you want to be part of the dialogue, but the consensual part is not the part we are interested in. I mean, thank you for sharing. I'm glad that, you know, nothing negative happened to you in that situation. She had a great time. But this is not the legal part that we're interested in exploring. Because what happened with you wasn't illegal. You know what I like to say? Were people consenting? Were people of age? Then it's not a story. They keep asking every celebrity, unless you're on the Sherry Show, but every celebrity, and I said this last week, I'm going to keep repeating it because it makes no sense. But every celebrity who does an interview these days, they're like, oh, did you ever attend a Diddy party? People who did are like, yes, I did. I attended a Diddy party. And then the follow-up question is always like, well, you know, did you see anything? Was anything crazy? Like, you know, did you notice anything? And everybody's always like, no, never saw anything. That wasn't my experience. I left early. I'm like, so all of y'all left early. It was at the end of the night. It was just Diddy and Cassie and whoever Diddy was flying in. It was no other celebrities involved. Despite all these tapes that have all these celebrities and such on them, these secret tapes that Diddy was making, but everybody left 30 minutes early. Okay. And he was doing these like weekly, according to Cassie's lawsuit. Like these were regular occurring. Okay. I think this is worth noting since we're talking about rumors. We'll get back to Janice Combs in a second. One of the rumors, and this has been circulating for years, because now that people are looking at Diddy, they started looking at Jay-Z. This is where I was going earlier, and I detoured. People have been saying for years that there was something going on with Foxy Brown and Jay-Z. And this is one of the types of rumors that are really starting to drive me up a wall, because it's one thing for people to say, okay, like something happened to me. Like if you have a firsthand experience, something happened to you. If you were one of Cassie's friends wrote something for Rolling Stone, she wrote about things that she saw directly, first person experience happening to Cassie. There's this thing online where people keep talking about Foxy Brown was abused by Jay-Z. He took advantage of her. People keep saying it over and over. And I was like, this is just weird. Like, want to say Foxy has said prior to this, like nothing ever happened between me and Jay-Z. Like, where is this coming from? But people keep insisting on this set of rumors. And I was like, this is so weird. Like people are making up rumors of who has been abused or taken advantage of or assaulted, even when people are saying nothing happened to me. If the person who it allegedly happened to doesn't want to tell the story, why are people insisting of telling someone else's narrative? To that end, Foxy Brown has been responding to people online, on Instagram, in her stories. She's reposting people. Like this one person here says, Foxy, when you speak, it's over. Stay protected. Foxy responded, all caps, bold letters. She said, y'all want me to be anti-hove so bad. Fuck out of here. Post that. She responded to someone else. Apparently, they made a YouTube video and they're just making shit up. It says Foxy Brown breaks silence about Jay-Z and Diddy. And to which Foxy posted a screenshot of the video and she says, stop playing with my name, dying for a comment. Can't spin me with the sucker shit to take Hove down. Better ask about the cloth I'm cut from. One last one. And I saw this on Baller Alert, by the way. I just like to name my sources. Somebody speculated. They said Jay-Z's spot's about to be blown up soon once Foxy's NDA is over. I feel like Rock Nation is almost done. Foxy responded, in icon business. Miss me with the fake news. NDA ain't a MF alive could stop my story. NDA on my shit gonna run 100 mil. Foxy says nothing happened between her and Jay-Z. And again, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But if Foxy doesn't want to tell the story, why are people out here speculating? I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. This Diddy stuff is nonstop and it's not going to die down until there's a trial, which my friends in the industry are like, there's no way that he's going on trial. Like it's impossible. And I was like, you don't think so? Like, I don't know. Everybody's out here just guessing. Nobody really knows what's going on. When is this trial again? Like we got like what, like a good year before this trial? Like this is going to be a long, long, bumpy road till we get to this trial. Every week is something new and crazy. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Halloween lets us have fun with what scares us. But what about those fears that don't involve zombies and ghosts? Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them. Because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. I am a huge advocate of therapy. I think everyone should have some, even the people that think they don't need it, and especially the people who are afraid of confronting what scares them. Living in fear is no way to live. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I love how easy BetterHelp makes it to access professional counseling. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/ratchet today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ratchet. This year, learn from the best to become your best with Masterclass. So many people just talk about improving. Masterclass helps you actually do it. Masterclass offers over 180 world-class instructors. So whether you want to master negotiation with Chris Voss, think like a boss with Martha Stewart, or learn writing and performing poetry with Amanda Gorman that helped me enhance my skills to become a stronger writer, Masterclass has you covered. With Masterclass, you get unlimited access to intimate one-on-one classes with the world's best. There are over 200 classes to pick from, with new classes added every month, like that Martha Stewart class that I mentioned. Think like a boss, live like a legend. Miss Martha shares all of her tips to become legendary. Also, with Masterclass, every new membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. And right now, our listeners will get an additional 15% off an annual membership at masterclass.com/ratchet. Get 15% off right now at masterclass.com/ratchet. Masterclass.com/ratchet. Listen up, renters. Ever feel like you're stuck in this loop of rent payments, just watching your money vanish into thin air? It's time to turn that rent game around and start earning some serious rewards. That's where Built Rewards comes in. Built is breaking ground as a neighborhood rewards program that hooks you up with points on your rent. Every month, pay your rent and watch the Built points roll in. Use points to jet off on a dream vacation. Put your points toward a flight or hotel stay with more than 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties. You can also use your points to book fitness studio classes or redeem them toward a future rent payment. They're designed to meet your lifestyle. Pay rent hassle-free through the Built Rewards app. Your rent game just got a major upgrade. Built points have been consistently ranked the highest value point currency by the Points Guy and Bankrate. If you're a renter, then I recommend checking out Built. Earn points by paying rent right now when you go to joinbuilt.com/ratchet. That's JOINBILT.com/ratchet. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Join built.com/ratchet to start earning points with your rent payments today. Janice Combs, Diddy's mom, released a statement earlier this week. To my knowledge, she has not said anything about her son in all this time. I wonder what encouraged her to make a statement now. It could be like she's reading all the same crazy stuff that I'm reading, and she's just like, enough is enough. However, reading her statement, I got the sense that she's actually referring to the lawsuits and not like the crazier stuff that's online. I don't know why she put this out. I wonder if this is part of the legal strategy to rehabilitate his image, if you will, because at some point this is going to trial. They have to find jurors. So maybe they're trying to, I don't know, rehab Diddy's image for the jury pool. I'll read you the statement that Janice Combs put out, and she released this via her lawyer. She says, I come to you today as a mother that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs. It is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies. To bear witness to what seems like a public lynching. Okay, look. So this is not a lynching. It really drives me up a wall when Black people, particularly Black men, start comparing their situations to lynching. We talked a couple weeks ago about the lieutenant governor down in North Carolina, the one who got exposed for the crazy stuff he was saying in the comments section on porn sites. He compared journalists finding out how he fantasized about how he wanted to urinate on his sister-in-law. He compared that to a high-tech lynching, which is what Clarence Thomas said was happening to him when Anita Hill told people about, him and his pubic hair on her soda can. These men are not being lynched. One, they're actually alive. You were not killed. You were not murdered. You were not strung up on a tree and left for dead. Out of respect to Black men and women and children who were actually lynched, it's such a disrespectful term to use. In the case of Diddy, and I believe in the case of Clarence Thomas and also this lieutenant governor, Mark Robinson, I think his name is, Mark Robinson especially, like, you did the shit they accused you of. You used your own email to register for these sites and then said crazy things online. You're not being lynched. You were found out and you're being held accountable. The same thing I think with Clarence Thomas. Like, you can't convince me that he didn't sexually harass Anita Hill. You're embarrassed by this woman coming forward and telling the world the crazy things that you were saying to her. Like, that's embarrassing, but you're not being lynched. And Diddy, the same thing. Like, you were being accused of all these things, and then you denied, especially with Cassie. You were like, no, none of this happened. No, it's a money grab. And then you settle the next day, one. But people settle for a whole lot of reasons. But then the video comes out of you doing exactly what Cassie said you did, and it's actually even worse when we watch the video. All these lawsuits have been filed against you, and you're denying everything, and people don't believe you, but you've already been caught in a lie. You're not being lynched. You're just not being believed because you're known to lie. And there's a lot of people accusing you of like the exact same shit. So, like, are you being lynched, or are you finally being held accountable for your alleged actions? A mother's love is something else. Let me go back to the statement. It says, to bear witness to what seems to be a public lynching of my son before he has an opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. You know what I think is probably a pain too unbearable to put into words? Cassie's parents watching that video or reading her lawsuit. That to me would be like a pain too unbearable to put into words. Like every human being, my son deserves to have his day in court, to finally share his side and to prove his innocence. I don't think anyone has said that your son doesn't deserve to have his day in court or to finally share his side. Prove his innocence? I mean, he could try. He could try. Innocent until proven guilty. We are Americans. She continues, I'm not here to portray my son as perfect because he is not. He has made mistakes in his past, as we all have. My son may not have been entirely truthful about certain things, i.e., my son lied, such as denying he has ever gotten violent with an ex-girlfriend when the hotel's surveillance showed otherwise. Sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside the norm or is too complicated to be believed. I'm sorry, what? Sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside the norm or is too complicated to be believed. Ma'am, I don't understand what you're trying to tell us here. I don't understand what that sentence means. I'm not the smartest girl in the room, but I think I'm a smart girl. I don't understand what that means, Mama Combs. I'm like, is this something like alternative facts? Remember that Trump lady with the unfortunate face? She was blonde. Was it the HBCU president? Go to the White House one time and she was sitting on the couch like a porn star. It was really weird. Kellyanne, I think that was her name. She looked like she drove city miles through her life. But she coined the term alternative fact. I feel like that's what Mama Combs is trying to tell us here. Ma'am, she continues. She says, this is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle the ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, the ex-girlfriend, Cassie, instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in a ricochet effect as the federal government used this decision against my son by interpreting it as an admission of guilt. I mean, it could be Cassie's lawsuit. It also could be, all the other lawsuits, because there's a lot of them that have been filed against him and other people that work at Bad Boy and also your grandson. Okay. It is important to recognize that none of us, regardless of our status, are immune to fear or mistakes. Not being entirely straightforward about one issue does not mean my son is guilty of the repulsive allegations and the grave charges leveled against him. Many individuals who were wrongfully convicted and later exonerated had their freedom taken from them, not because they were guilty of the crimes they were accused of, but because they didn't fit the image of what this society considers to be a good person. Is it me? I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, is she trying to compare him to, again, like lynched people? History has shown us how people can be wrongfully convicted due to their past actions or mistakes. Regularly, when we talk about people on here who have exercised bad judgment, like I'm the first to say, like, there is grace for those that seek it. I agree with that. But I also think that there's degrees of mistake and degrees of wrongdoing. She seems to be like, we've all done bad things. We've all made mistakes. I've never sexually assaulted anyone. I've never drugged anyone. I've never thrown somebody on the floor and kicked them repeatedly on video or otherwise. Like, a mistake is like you not really paying attention and you might tap somebody's car. There's a big difference between that and like being drunk as fuck and getting behind the wheel. Some things are small mistakes. Some things are forced errors. Some things are like really gravely fucked up things, which is what your son is accused of. I think we all make mistakes. I think we all make bad decisions, but do we all do like really heinous, fucked up things like allegedly sexually assault and abuse people, including allegedly minors? Come on. She continues. She says, watching the world make jokes and laugh about my son's life crumbling before our eyes is something I can never forget. It is truly agonizing to watch the world turn against my son so quickly and easily over lies and misconceptions without ever hearing his side or affording him the opportunity to present his side. These lies thrown at him are motivated by those seeking a financial gain and not justice. These individuals saw how quickly my son's civil legal team settled his ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, so they believe they can receive a quick payday by falsely accusing my son. She sounds so delusional. False allegations of sexual assault thwart true victims of sexual violence from getting the justice they deserve. To make matters worse, the federal government is now using these lies to prosecute my son. This injustice has been unbearable for our family. The worst part of this ordeal is watching my beloved son be stripped of his dignity, not for what he did, but for what people choose to believe about him. I ask his supporters, there are many, fans, colleagues, friends, and the public to not judge him before you've had a chance to hear his side. I beg you to think about those who have been wrongly prosecuted, to remember that not everyone who has made mistakes in life deserves to have their entire existence judged by a single action or a few mistakes. It's a lot of lawsuits, ma'am. It's more than just a few. It's a lot of allegations. In closing, she says, my son is not the monster they have painted him to be, and he deserves the chance to tell his side. I agree. I can only pray that I am alive to see him speak his truth and be vindicated. That last part, that I'm alive. I read that Mama Combs had brain surgery recently. She seems to be doing okay. But, she's a woman of a certain age, and brain surgery is super serious. I genuinely do hope that she stays with us through her son's trial and then some time after that. And I say that sincerely. I wish no ill will to Mama Combs, even though this statement is, I'm of two minds about it. But mostly, I feel like it's hard to judge a mother for defending her son. A mother's love is infinite. A mother's love clearly runs deep. And she's also on the payroll. I think Diddy's been fully financially supporting her for years. If nothing else, the house that she lives in, the $2 million house that he was willing to put up to get out of jail, he probably paid for the house. He would probably take great care of his mom, which is great for a son to do. No issues. I would guess, because there's no way that Diddy's lawyers didn't see this before it was released. I would gather that this is the version, the narrative that they want to put forth. Like, he's being unfairly prosecuted. The things that they're saying he did are nowhere near as bad as the way they're being presented in these lawsuits or by the federal government. He didn't do what they're saying he did. This is all just a big misunderstanding. And then once he has his day in court, then everyone will see the truth and the light. And I'm like, you got your mama to believe this? I've said this about so many different people and for far less things. Like 9, 10, 10. Let's just go with the number of 10. Because I think there's more lawsuits than that. But let's say 10 for now. 10 people accusing you of the same shit, you did that shit. And the stories are similar too, you did that shit. Cassie got a story. Cassie's bestie got a story. There's all sorts of bodyguards and people that worked in the Diddy circle. All these people aren't lying. Everyone didn't just make this shit up. It's not some grand conspiracy, some network of former assistants and bodyguards and interns and editors of Vibe. Like, they've all come together for a grand conspiracy to take Diddy down. It's not some grand conspiracy of all these people. Like, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a whole lot of smoke over a whole lot of years. But it seems that he's convinced his mama that all these people are just making up shit. And despite all the overwhelming accusations, it seems like his mom wants to believe him. I have a really hard time judging her for that. Kinda. She wants to believe her son. She doesn't want to believe her son is a monster. Like, I get why she wouldn't want to. On the flip side, because I told you I'm of two minds on this, people often say, particularly Black mothers, they raise their daughters and they love their sons. The stereotype is that families are harder on the daughters. They expect them to have more responsibility. They expect them to have more maturity. They are less tolerant or forgiving of transgressions by daughters. But when it comes to sons, the stereotype at least is that, they can pretty much do nothing wrong. They get away with murder or something close to it. And people turn a blind eye because, oh, it's my son, my son, my son. the world is so hard for Black men. He needs a safe space, and I'm his mother, and I will provide that. Like it's giving a bit of dysfunction and coddling here. But again, I'm also kind of like, but that's her kid, and like she's a mother, and like infinite understanding, infinite love, unconditional love. But also, do you not see your son for what he is? Allegedly, what so many people have alleged him to be. That's tricky for me. Honestly, I feel bad for the lady. I feel like she's caught up in his lies and delusions, either because she don't know no better, or she wants to believe in her son, which she's a mom. But also, isn't that kind of why some of these guys end up this way? And just for clarity, I'm not blaming her in any way for his actions. Like he is responsible. He's a grown ass man who is responsible for everything that he chooses to or not to do, no matter how he was raised. At some point, you got to grow the fuck up. Okay. I wonder if part of the reason, and again, not blaming his mom and not making excuses for him. I just wonder if part of the reason he ends up this way is he had a mom that will believe anything he says, and clearly, at least publicly, isn't holding him accountable for his alleged bullshit. Like, I just think at some point, like if it was one accusation, if it's like, okay, Diddy and Cassie, and it never goes further than that, I could see, maybe being like, I don't know, I was around and I didn't see anything and maybe I missed something, but could he? Like, it's he said, she said, but it's like he said, and then like a whole bunch of she's, one he, and then allegedly 120 more, half he's, half she's, and minors, also accusing him of about the same shit. Is this a grand conspiracy? Or did my son really harm people? I'm very torn on how I feel about her statement, all of it. I'm very torn. What else do we have on this list? Oh, DDG and Halle broke up. I saw the initial statement of the breakup, a screenshot of it. I don't follow him, announcing they broke up. And then I saw a rant from him. He was going at Joe Budden, rapper, podcaster, because Joe Budden said something about the breakup. DDG was like, I don't care what women say, because, women are always going to talk, but like, man to man, you should, mind your words on whatever. He wasn't quite as kind and charismatic when he responded to Joe, but that was the gist of it. And then I saw him do a podcast, at least one, also addressing them breaking up. I haven't heard a word, seen anything from Halle since this announcement. DDG is 26. Halle is 23. I see all the people on the internet who are reacting to them breaking up. I'm baffled by people's reactions. One, specifically speaking about DDG and Halle, people have been saying for years, even before she got pregnant, that it was a poor relationship. He wasn't good enough for her. He was jealous of her success. He was sabotaging her. He wasn't supportive of her. People wanted them to break up. And then she went ahead and got pregnant, and people were like, y'all are going to break up. Like, this relationship is not going to last. Like, people kept pointing out, like, there's so many red flags. So you told her she should break up with him, and you kept saying over and over, this relationship is not going to last. And then now that they've broken up, everyone wants to act like shocked. Really? What you thought would happen, happened. What is there to talk about? And I'm not saying this in any sort of defense of Halle and DDG. I don't know. I personally can't be but so shocked about a 23-year-old and a 26-year-old being in a relationship and they break up. Most people who are in relationships in their early 20s, those relationships don't last. They're in their early 20s. They're still figuring themselves out. They have a baby together. That baby is still super young. Baby was born this year. Halo. People are like, oh my God, they broke up. They have this young baby. Well, again, 23 and 26-year-olds usually do break up. And adding a baby to the situation, which is high stress for any parents of any age, but the baby probably sped up the breakup. It's unfortunate that they broke up. I don't have it in me to sit on the internet or on this podcast and act shocked. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it happened. I can. Everyone said it was going to happen. And I don't follow DDG very closely, but just from the stuff that I saw that people were talking about, like reposting things that he said, things that he did, especially while she was promoting The Little Mermaid, he made a whole song about being insecure about her success. Again, I can't sit here and be like, oh my God, I never saw this coming. Did. I wish them the best. DDG made a statement. He says, we both have love for each other. We both adore each other. We're going to co-parent this baby. I hope that they do a really great job at co-parenting. I hope that they're better as co-parents than they are as people in a relationship together. And I hope that it all works out for them. I saw something about DDG talking about, because he just talks constantly. He was saying something about like he didn't want to date again because he only wants one baby mama. He doesn't want to have kids with like a bunch of different women, which I think is a great outlook. But I'm also kind of like, you're 26. Of course you're going to date again. Like, what are you saying? He's 26. Like, people just be talking. I hope that they have strong support systems where they can navigate the public eye. They can navigate whatever big feelings that they had for each other and navigate what that feels like now that they're apart. They share a child together, navigating co-parenting. Like, I hope that they can make the best out of a not so great situation. That's what I wish for them. Because what else can you wish for? He did say, though, he was like, the only way I would date again is if me and Halle got back together. And I was like, oh, okay, she broke up with you. It is what it is. These things happen. And people are treating it like it's the end of the world. It's not. It's a sad situation. People are like, Halle ruined her life. No, she didn't. Unfortunate as it is to say, like, people break up every day, B. Even people with kids, young kids. Sometimes people break up before the kid is born. Which brings me to my next topic and our final topic today of Offset and Cardi B. I remember shortly after Culture was born, Offset was caught cheating on Cardi and she left him. That might have been the first time she filed for divorce, or she said she was going to file. But he made this video. He posted it online looking all sad. He wanted his family back. He wanted to spend Christmas with them. He wanted to be a better person. He was doing things he knew he didn't have no business doing. I think at the time he was like trying to arrange a threesome via text or DMs, and the girl leaked it. Okay. But he was online begging. He showed up to one of Cardi's concerts and he interrupted the show. And he said something like, bruh. I remember the bruh part. And he wanted her to take him back. He was so sorry. And people, celebrities included, would post under Cardi's page, like, take him back, Cardi, take him back. Don't leave him. He's a good man. He made a mistake. Give him a second chance. Take him back, Cardi. Take him back, Cardi. Take him back, Cardi. Fast forward many years later, two more kids. They got 3 kids together now. He's still doing the same shit that he was doing way back when. I think the most recent thing was he got caught at a casino with his ex-girlfriend. He said they were there just coincidentally. They're just friends. I'm like, sir, you are a recognizable public figure and you're sitting in public, not even like VIP or like a hotel room with this other woman who ain't your wife at whatever hours of the night. You've been caught cheating before. The lady is pregnant. Like, you ain't got no better sense, if not to carry your ass home, but to carry yourself like to a place where people can't see you. So the story breaks. Cardi files for divorce the following day. It's so interesting how much people hate women. So when Cardi tried to leave him the first time, people were like, take him back, Cardi. Don't break up your family. Don't be a baby mama. Keep your man. Stand by your man. Forgive your man. Be an intact family. Too many Black families aren't intact. She stays. Offset goes and does this dumb shit now. She files for divorce. And people are like, but why did her dumb ass stay all that time? Why does she have 3 kids by him? 3 kids by her husband? He might be a cheating ass husband, but he is her husband nonetheless. Like, she decided to stay with him. I mean, they were having sex. Clearly, they're still married. I was like, I don't understand how we got from, forgive him, be stand by your man, don't break up a family, to be like, damn, this bitch is dumb. She had 3 kids by that man, and all he did was cheat the whole time. She's stupid. You told her to stay, and she stayed. And then now you're mad at her because she stayed. Huh? The other part of this story, Offset has been caught publicly cheating on his wife. And I specifically say publicly because I'm sure there's tons of stuff that we don't know about. It's like, either are you that bad a cheater that you got caught all 4 times? I think it's 4. It's facts that he's cheating on his wife. And the times that we know about were when she was pregnant. So Cardi has this meltdown online. We talked about this on a previous episode, but there was more happened after we talked about it. Cardi has this meltdown online, and then Offset comes into the comments. There's a bit of back and forth between them, but the final straw is Offset's like, I'm going to tell people what you did. And Cardi was like, tell them what you want. I'll spill my own tea. I don't think this is all in the same post. I think it happened across different posts. But Offset accuses Cardi of having sex with another man while she was pregnant with his kid. To which Cardi responds, and did. People, menfolk in particular, some women, across the internet are just outraged. Oh my God, how could she? She is a pregnant woman. She is pregnant with her husband's child, and she had sex with somebody else. Oh my God. Like, that's just the lowest of the low, the most disgusting. Like, she's just gutter snipe. Like, just, that's a low, low woman. I'm like, y'all done called this woman all kinds of whores and sluts and moralists her entire career. Whether she was trying to act right, whether she was loyal, whether she stayed with her husband, whether she took him back. I'm genuinely confused on why people are so upset about this. If you really look at the reasons that people say that they're so upset, like, it doesn't make sense. You're like, oh my God, she was pregnant. Okay. If he was having sex with her while she was pregnant, would it hurt the baby? No. So if his dick don't hurt the baby, then nobody else's would either. The baby physically is fine. People are like, oh my God, but like, she's having sex with someone else. Like, she could get an STD. She could expose the baby to that. We know for a fact her husband cheats on her. Does he use condoms? Who knows? Him having sex with other people and then taking that back to his wife is the same STD threat as Cardi having sex with somebody else who's not her husband. Like, oh my God, she's a married woman. He's a married man. Oh my God, she's pregnant. Yeah, she is. And he knew she was pregnant when he was having sex with other people too. So it's okay for him to have sex with other people while she's pregnant, but she can't have sex with people while she's pregnant. Huh? But she actually has a physical baby inside of her. Yeah, but it does nothing to the baby. It has no physical effect on the baby. So again, huh? What are y'all so mad about? She's supposed to have like some upstanding morals, and because she's pregnant? Where were his upstanding morals while his wife was pregnant? All day, every day, people online, like men are leaders and women are supposed to submit. Okay, well, she's following his lead. He whores, she whores. People want her to respect him because it's not just like, oh my God, she had sex while she's pregnant with her baby. People specifically say pregnant with his baby, pregnant with somebody else's baby, and then having sex with someone else. Like, you want her to show respect for him while he's cheating with other women, or at least another woman, while she's pregnant. Why would you expect her to do that? It's kind of beyond me. You never thought that she was going to get some get back after all this time? Like, you just thought like, oh, she's just going to keep taking it and taking it and taking it and nothing? Nothing? What's that Jay-Z song with Jaguar, right? Nevertheless. Song cry? You don't get a nigga back like that. I'm a man with pride. Don't do shit like that. I was just fucking them girls. I was going to get right back. I mean, if she's still there. She was the first few times and now she's done. I really think she's actually going to divorce him this time. Men really think that you could just treat a woman any old kind of way for however long you feel like doing it. And the woman is just going to like take that shit forever. Like, she's just going to stand by you. I mean, there's the type of woman that will. And then there's the type of woman that won't. Fuck around thinking every woman going to love you like your mama. Going Janice Combs you and believe everything you say and forgive you for all your transgressions and minimize your massively fucked up behavior as, mistakes and fear. And no. Nigga really literally fucked around and is now finding out. I was. All right, that's the episode for today. We'll be back on Friday. All right? Talk soon. Bye.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those like lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for the power, performance, and reliability of a new Superstart battery. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.